Greetings to everyone who are watching this video log. We are the Group 6 from BPED IV-1 and we're about to watch our vlog about Field Study 2 Activity 4 entitled Writing a Lesson Plan. In this video log, we will talk about the 7E model lesson plan and the table of specifications. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the vlog.
The 7E model lesson plan consisting of elicit, engage, explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate, and extend serves as a guidance to have an effective learner-centered approach. In order for you to fully understand the 7Es model, let's discuss each of the 7Es starting with elicit. Eliciting helps to develop a learner-centered classroom and a stimulating environment while making learning memorable by linking new and old information, and it helps your students to more likely to be engaged as they are actively doing something rather than passively listening to the teacher.
The next stage in the 7Es lesson plan is engage. This activity, which will focus students' attention, stimulate their thinking, and access prior knowledge. This stage focuses on student thinking on content, providing conversation opportunities for all students, not just a select few.
This phase encourages students to actively investigate and discover the topic. It often involves hands-on activities, experiments, or exploration of new concepts. During this phase, students are encouraged to ask questions, make observations, and gather information.
The fourth E of the 7Es lesson plan is the explain. The meaning of explain in this lesson plan is developing mastery, which means the activity that we will put in this category should challenge or test the knowledge of the students gained from the discussion. This will help the students to think further from the knowledge or concept that they have acquired. An example activity of explaining 7Es lesson plan is the brainstorming that I have used in my own 7E lesson plan. I instruct my students to divide themselves into 5 groups, and each group will pick a topic randomly inside the box that I have made. Whatever the topic they have picked, they will need to discuss it with their groups, and each of the members will give insight on what they have learned in front of the class.
The fifth E on 7Es lesson plan is elaborate. Students may work independently during this stage to demonstrate learning. This is where students formalize and apply their learning. At this stage, the scaffolds are removed. Students would be involved in independent practice. Here's the sample activity that I use in my 7Es lesson plan.
The 6E of the 7Es lesson plan is the evaluate. Evaluate meaning you'll assess the learning of your students or simply about evaluating their learning. The evaluation part in the 7E lesson plan contains the process of assessing and measuring your students' progress, learning outcomes, and the effectiveness of teaching methods and materials you use during a lesson. This might involve peer or self-assessment or marking. This should also include self-reflection and evaluation from the student to establish understanding of the concepts. Here is the sample activity I used in my 7E lesson plan. The activity entitled What I've Learned, wherein my students will reflect on the striking things they have learned from our lesson and write it down in a whole sheet of paper. And lastly, the 7th E of the 7Es lesson plan is the extend, which means having additional activities for application or remediation. In some cases, you may require additional extended stage to challenge your students. In this stage, you are encouraging your students to apply or extend the concepts and skills in new situations. The students make connections not just to the subject or ideas studied, but also beyond it. For example, the activity I use in my 7E lesson plan, which is entitled A Love Story, wherein I will instruct my students to interview their parents or any couples who are close to them by asking them with the interview questions I prepared.
Now that we already tackled about the 7Es lesson plan, this time we are going to talk about the table of specification. The table of specification is a must when you are constructing a test or an assessment because it ensures to measure the content and thinking skill to ensure that the questions are fair and has content validity. The table of specification consists of learning outcomes, number of teaching hours, percent of allocation, number of items, Bloom's taxonomy, which are the remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating, and lastly, it also includes the item placement.
This has been BPED 4-1 Group 6. Thank you for watching.